insights, picks, results. This is Wizard Sports Picks. Beyond the Lines.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Lines, presented by Wizard Sports Picks for Friday, March 20th. Ian Cameron, have you been infected with the madness yet? March Madness? I mean, it's here. Thursday was filled with wall-to-wall action. We had buzzer beaters. We had upsets. High Point over Wisconsin. Comebacks. VCU over North Carolina. Lots of great basketball and lots of winners. Lots of winning picks at Wizard Sports Picks from all of our great handicappers. Make sure you get on board. It's not too late. Thursday was only day one. We've got first round action on Friday. We've got the round of 32 Saturday and Sunday. Sweet 16 and Elite 8 next weekend. Still 3 more weeks of NCAA tournament action. Not to mention still the NIT tournament. The Crown tournament will be starting in a little bit as well. Plenty of college basketball still left this season, which is good news for anyone on board with me, because I am the number one handicapper right now at wizardsportspicks.com in college basketball. It's been a great season. 192 and 154, 56%, 20.74 units of profit, all documented. Very proud of my efforts this year and a very successful college basketball season, and we're not stopping. We're looking to keep adding to the profits here in the NCAA tournament, but it's not just me. There are a lot of other people that have had great college basketball seasons. The D'Amicos, Dion and Joe, have had great seasons. Sniper West, Dan Kaiser, Alex Smart, Dana Lane, and others. Really, really good results across the board in college basketball. So get to the website. Check out wizardsportspicks.com. Get some daily premium picks throughout the NCAA tournament. And also consider a long-term subscription, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, and 1-year all sports subscriptions. All-time, all sports combined for me at Wizard Sports Picks. 568 and 493 is the record. 54%, 21 units of profit. That's all sports combined. It has been a great, successful run. Number one ranked in NHL this season, college basketball this season, and also a number one NFL season that was completed earlier this season. So, like I said, it's been a great run on the website. Check it out at wizardsportspicks.com. Also, be sure to enter your email address on the homepage to have free picks sent to you on a daily basis. All right, we're going to give you 2 selections for Friday NCAA tournament first round action. We will begin with Hofstra taking on Alabama. We've got Alabama 11.5-point favorites, 157.5 the total. This game taking place at Benchmark International Arena in Tampa Bay, Florida. Alabama, a team I don't trust as double-digit favorites, flat out. This is a team that has at times struggled defensively. This is at times a team that can come and go as far as making their three-point shots, and that's always a concern when you're talking about laying points with a team like Alabama. Not a lot of consistent, fluid basketball from this team. We saw, obviously, in the SEC tournament, they got bounced by Ole Miss at 80-79. This team finished the regular season on a point spread losing skid. Well, not a losing skid. They did cover some numbers, but still, you haven't been making money with Alabama down the stretch. Just 3-5 against the spread in their last 8 games. Just not good enough defensively. I mean, they gave up 84 points to Auburn, 98 in a loss to Georgia, 80 in the loss to Ole Miss in the SEC tournament. And what I've seen from Hofstra down the stretch of their season is a team that's just gotten better under Speedy Claxton. Speedy Claxton is a guy that, as head coach of Hofstra, he always seemed to just fall a little bit short. But this year in the CAA tournament, this Hofstra team put it together. And man, does this team guard. And boy, does this team defend. And while we question that sometimes with Alabama, based on what we've seen with Hofstra, you can't question it. They have been guarding. They have been defending. They've played really good at that end of the basketball court. And they can score enough. They've got some pretty good players that can put the ball in the basket, led by the likes of Preston Edmeade, who was great in the CAA tournament. Cruz Davis is a very dynamic scorer for this Hofstra team as well. and they've got a little bit of size down low as well. Joshua Decady as well. So this is a team that's got nice balance, good guard play, some size down low. They can defend, they rebound. This is a Hofstra team that could throw a lot here at this Alabama team. And let's not forget about the little off-court situation that has developed here for Alabama going into this tournament with Aiden Holloway, who got suspended due to a arrest off the court. And that throws a wrench and a distraction for Alabama in going into this NCAA tournament that they don't necessarily need, courtesy of the suspended Aiden Holloway. So, like I said, there's just a lot of concerns for me with Alabama. And as we've seen at times Thursday, the team that won their conference tournament and was red hot going in to the NCAA tournament, a lot of times that team can carry the momentum. Look at what VCU did. And there's other examples of that from what we saw on Thursday. I think Hofstra, coming off that CAA tournament win, finally getting the monkey off their back, breaking through, getting to the NCAA tournament after a ton of close calls the last few years. I think they're going to give Alabama a game. I wouldn't even totally rule out the possibility of Hofstra winning outright, but I will absolutely take Hofstra plus 11.5 here on Friday. So my first selection will take the Hofstra Pride plus 11.5 against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Second selection for the NCAA tournament first round, we will go to one. That's an afternoon game, by the way. We're going to go to a night game for the second one. UCF and UCLA. This is in Philadelphia. UCLA 5.5-point favorites, 152.5 the total. And again, I'm going to make a case for the underdog in this game. Central Florida. UCLA, to their credit, this is a team that played some pretty good basketball in the Big Ten tournament. And for a team that had struggles all year pretty much on the road outside of the Pacific time zone, to see UCLA, and of course Mick Cronin bitched and complained and moaned about it and whined about it all year about the travel, now that they're a member of the Big Ten and having to go to make so many East Coast trips. Hey, Mick, you want some cheese with that wine? I mean, I got sick of hearing it after a while. It's like, stop. Enough with the nonsense. We don't have to hear about it every freaking time you go on the road, man. But we did hear about it. And so it's no secret he was frustrated every time UCLA had to make a trip to the East. And for the longest time, other than one game against Penn State, UCLA had not covered a point spread in a Big Ten road game outside of the Pacific time zone. Well, they did get to the Big Ten tournament at the United Center in Chicago, which obviously was outside the Pacific time zone. And wouldn't you know it, they finally put together a couple of good performances outside the Pacific time zone in the Big Ten tournament, beating Rutgers 72-59, winning and covering. Upset win, outright win as a dog against Michigan State, 88-84 in the Big Ten tournament. They fell short against Purdue in the semifinal, but again, it was a banged-up team. Tyler Bilodeau didn't play. Donovan Dent left that game due to injury as well for UCLA, and yet they still found a way as an 8.5-point underdog to cover the number in defeat, losing by only 7 in the Big Ten tournament semifinal against Purdue. And they have covered 5 straight. So you've got that going for you if you're UCLA. However, going into this game against UCF, there's still question marks about Tyler Bilodeau with that right knee sprain. It's uncertain if he's going to play. My guess is he's going to probably try to give it a go. It is the NCAA tournament, but will he be 100%? That's a real question you have to ask yourself. What I like about Johnny Dawkins' UCF team is this is a very experienced team. Now, they had a lot of highs and a lot of lows this season. You know, this is a team that was able to, have some really nice wins when you look at their resume this year. Early in the year, they won at Texas A&M early in the season. You look at in conference play, they won at home against Kansas. They won against Cincinnati. They've had some pretty good performances at times this year. But also, they beat Texas Tech as well at home. But they've also had some head-scratching losses at times that have left you shaking your head, like losing at home to West Virginia. That's not exactly a good look. Losing at home against Baylor, that's not exactly a good look. But the fact remains, is a very experienced team. They're one of the older teams in all of college basketball this season. And if there's one team that I'm going to trust here maybe to get it together and be able to put at least one win, if not more than one win together, it could be UCF. Like I said, this team's got experience. with Fulks, with Jermichael Stillwell, with Jordan Burks, who it seems like has been in college basketball for a very long time, for years now. This is a UCF team that's a very capable offensive team. For the year, they're ranked 44th in the country in field goals made, 99th in the country in field goal percentage, 63rd in three-point percentage. So this is a team that can make shots. Defensively, that's going to be the thing to watch, because at times UCF's defense has kind of disappeared. And that's going to be something to watch for here in this game, especially the perimeter defense, because UCLA has been pretty good at three-point shooting. One of the strengths for the Bruins, they're 18th in the country, 38.2% three-point shooting percentage. UCF's been decent, defending the three. But when you look back a little bit long, and you look back at the season results, I should say, 34%, that's going to be a key matchup. But this is UCLA now in Philadelphia again, making the trip to the East Coast again, after being in Chicago for the Big Ten tournament. So you're talking about a team that, in Chicago, and having to find out that they're back on the East Coast again here for this first round game. I think it's and not to mention, we don't know how healthy Bilodeau is going to be. There's, to me, question marks about UCLA being a trustworthy candidate to be laying points here. And let's not forget, they've covered a few times as favorites, but two of them were against a really bad USC team that fell apart. And the other was against Rutgers, who was one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. UCF's a capable team. UCF's coming from a conference that was very strong top to bottom this year, the Big 12. So we know this team's been battle tested. I think it's just asking a little bit too much for UCLA to win this game by margin. They might win this game, but win this game by 6 or more and win it by margin with a little bit of breathing room, I'm not so sure about that against this veteran-laden UCF team. So I will take the UCF Knights plus 5.5 against the UCLA Bruins for my second selection in NCAA Tournament first round action on Friday, March 20th. That will do it for this edition of Beyond the Lines. Thanks for tuning in. Get to the website and get on board with any of our great handicappers for March Madness and the NCAA Tournament. And don't forget, NHL is still ongoing, NBA on a daily basis, and Major League Baseball starts next week, and all our great handicappers on the site will be involved with that sport as well. I'm Ian Cameron. Enjoy the madness, enjoy the games, and good luck. Cash some tickets. And thanks for tuning in to the Friday, March 20th edition of Beyond the Lines, presented by Wizard Sports Picks.